We will now call the meeting to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Here.
Representative Thomas,
Present.
Co-Chair Girdler,
Here.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Here, and we have a quorum. Now we'll move to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion and a second to approve? Motion by Senator Girdler, second by Representative Thomas. Does any member object? Okay. Catherine, would you please report the informational items?
The University of Kentucky reported 5 restricted fund purchases of medical equipment totaling over $1.9 million. The first 4 UK Good Samaritan Hospital and the next 4 for UK Chandler Hospital. UK also reported a $1.13 million rotary furnace system purchase for the UK Center for Applied Energy Research with Corps of Engineers Research and Development Center federal funding. Through their fiscal agents, 3 school districts, none of which needed an additional tax levy to pay debt service, reported upcoming debt issues to finance new projects. The school districts were Hart County, Raceland, Worthington, and Greenup County, and Williamsburg, Independent, and Whitley County.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Next on the agenda is a project report from the Finance and Administration Cabinet, and we have Kevin Cardwell in person. And this will be an appropriation increase requiring action and an emergency project requiring no action. Mr. Cardwell, please begin with the appropriation increase, and then after we vote on that, we'll continue with the emergency project.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Chair Fraser Gordon and other members of the committee. My name is Kevin Cardwell, Deputy State Budget Director. As the Chair mentioned, I've got 2 projects today. The first one I'll start with is the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet with the Horse Park Commission. This is a barn repair upgrade appropriation increase to the project. The increase amount is $215,000. This comes from unbudgeted restricted funds within the Horse Park Commission. The original appropriation was authorized in the 2022-24 Budget Act for $10 million of general fund. So this $215,000 increase brings the total to $10,215,000. Due to time constraints relating to the events and activities at the horse park, the Division of Engineering and Contract Administration decided to build a traditional steel structured building rather than a pre-engineered metal building structure. This will cut approximately 6 weeks off the construction time. That, coupled with an unanticipated extension of tent rentals into the beginning of the next season, led to the need for the appropriation increase. The authorization for this increase is pursuant to 40 KRS 45760, subparagraph 6, and we respectfully request approval of the committee. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Does any member have questions? Okay. We have a motion by Representative Thomas. Do I have a second? Second by Representative Herron. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, yes. Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler,
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes. The appropriation was approved. You may now continue with the emergency project, which requires no action.
Thank you. The second project today was with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and it's related to the Radcliffe Veterans Center building. This is an emergency repair, maintenance, and replacement. The total project will be $6,012,000. Pursuant to KRS 45750 1G and KRS 45780, Secretary of the Finance and Administration Cabinet approved additional funds in the amount of $1,012,000 from the emergency repair, maintenance, and replacement account for this project. Project budget initially was $5 million. It was reported to this committee in June of 22. Increase is going to bring the total project up, as I previously stated, to $6,012,000. And this will provide funding for the lowest of the construction bids that were received. This project includes replacement of the roof and siding and repairs to the gutters, soffits, retaining walls, fence posts, concrete ceiling, and other related issues. It's going to be funded with $5,989,500 from the Emergency Repair, Maintenance, and Replacement account and $20,000 from Veterans Affairs Agency's Maintenance Pool account and $2,500 from restricted funds. Repairs are necessary to maintain the operations of the center and were necessitated by the structural defects that must be corrected to ensure the center is usable.
Any questions from members? Representative Thomas.
Yeah, I appreciate the report and stuff. When was that veteran? That was the last veteran center other than the Bowling Green one to come online, wasn't it? And when was that built? Do you know?
Representative Thomas, I'm going to turn to Mark Bowman.
Or just roughly?
Yeah.
When? Right.
Opened in 2017.
Okay, and I was thinking it was pretty new. So are these common repairs that would be needed in a 5-6-year-old building, or this? It wasn't in some deficiencies, was it? It is more so necessary repairs. It just seems like a lot of money to spend on a building that is relatively new.
Yes, sir. I understand the question. Scott, do you mind to assist with that? Scott Baker with Finance is here.
All right.
That deals more on the day-to-day with that.
Just please introduce yourself for the record, please, and then thank you.
Oh, sorry. Do that again. Scott Baker, Executive Director of Finance Administration, Cabinet Division of Engineering. So this particular issues with this building are latent defects within some of the materials that were used, but they're not a warranted item. So while some of the roof systems have some warranty remaining, the majority of the systems that have failed aren't under any type of warranty. They've completed their building warranties, you know, what our normal construction warranty is and our 2-year post warranty, fine. And now we've had all these significant failures since then. So in order to not continue throwing good money after bad, as the saying goes, the best solution, it's felt by both Finance Cabinet and Veterans Affairs, is to go ahead and replace everything with a new system.
Okay, so we are bringing them up to better standards than
Yes.
it was originally built
Yes.
then. So
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Representative Petrie.
Thank you, Chair. Looks like it's a little over 20% increase. Is that what I'm saying? Based on what's the cause of the increase? Is it inflationary or something else?
Yes, it's primary inflationary due to the particular materials that are part of this have seen probably a higher rate of inflation than most building materials, and all construction materials have seen, you know, pretty huge inflation, as I'm sure you all are seeing quite often, and we are as well. But being roof systems, it's been even more so.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Natalie Bronner is here remotely to present agenda item number 5, which is a lease modification that will require action. And Ms. Bronner, you may begin.
Thank you and good afternoon. Again, my name is Natalie Bronner and I'm the Director of the Division of Real Properties. The only item I'm presenting today is a lease modification for PR 5586 for the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet, Department of Corrections in Jefferson County. The agency currently leases 44 spaces in a parking facility operated by the Parking Authority of the River City at a rental rate of $95 per space per month, or $50,160 annually. Per KRS 56805, this lease is being modified for the addition of 40 parking spaces at a rental rate of $106 per space per month, or $50,880 annually. The total cost of the lease increases to $101,040 annually, effective September 1st, 2023, and the modification is being presented to the committee pursuant to KRS $56,823 since the annual cost of the modification exceeds $50,000. May I answer any questions?
Thank you. I have a question.
Okay.
What is the term that is left on the lease for the corrections? Not the parking lot, but for the building, I guess, where these people are reporting. And the reason I ask is I've typically when leases are advertised, it will say needing this much square feet with this many designated parking spots, that it is all together as one package. And so I didn't know if you had looked at alternate spaces that would have a parking lot.
So the facility that is currently being leased did have parking, but corrections prefers to park in this particular parking structure because of the security and carded access. So that's why these additional spaces are being sought.
Okay, thank you.
And I can get you that information. I don't have the expiration of that lease right in front of me, but I can get that for you all if you wish.
Okay, so to clarify, there is parking available, but they're choosing to park elsewhere because of security.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no further questions, do you have a motion and a second to approve the lease modification? And motion by Senator Howell, and a second.
I'll second.
Representative Thomas, you may call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
You could feel that the honeymoon's already over, couldn't you?
That's okay.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, the modification has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Certainly.
Okay. Action item number 6, we will be hearing from Sandy Williams remotely. This will be 2 loans and a Cleaner Water Program grant reallocation. Do I have a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote? Motion by Senator Howell. Second by Senator Girdler. And Ms. Williams, you may begin.
Thank you, Chair Fraser Gordon and members of the committee. I'm Sandy Williams, Executive Director with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority. Pursuant to KRS 224A-100, the authority will present 2 loans and 1 grant for the committee's review. First up, out of our Fund A program, our Clean Water State Revolving Fund, Louisville and Jefferson County Metropolitan Sewer District's Fund A loan in the amount of $1,118,600 for the Patty's Run Flood Pumping Station and Capacity Improvements Project. The existing pump station was designed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and put into service in 1953, and it will be decommissioned. The new pump station, the actual pump station, routinely pumps combined sewer overflows during wet weather events when the river is elevated, further protecting the public and many critical assets within MSD's sewer system. In addition to providing critical flood protection, the Patty's Run pump station serves as an essential wastewater infrastructure for combined sewer overflow control and is a required project in MSD's federal consent decree. This project will also help protect critical infrastructure within the Rubber Town area, which could have a catastrophic consequence if it floods, and would release volatile chemicals and emerging contaminants into the Ohio River. The loan is being funded under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law's new Emerging Contaminants Funding through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund loan program and will receive 100% principal forgiveness as required by federal law. The loan was approved at the August 3rd KIA board meeting. Next up, out of our Fund B Infrastructure Revolving Fund, The City of Bowling Green's Fund B loan in the amount of $8,616,000 is for construction of the Bowling Green Municipal Utilities North Industrial Park Force Main project. The project will construct 8,500 linear feet of 24-inch force main in the Kentucky Trans Park. It will also include ancillary equipment and an odor control station. The project is one of several in the area being driven by substantial growth. New facilities, including the Envision battery plant, OI glass manufacturing, and Tyson Foods have recently broken ground in the industrial park, and the current infrastructure isn't capable of meeting the future demands. This will be a 20-year loan with a 0.5% interest rate and was approved at the August 3rd KA board meeting. And last but not least, we do have one reallocation request from the City of Springfield. This was a cleaner water program grant, and out of round 2 of that was appropriated in House Bill 1 of the 22 regular session. And we recommend the projects and request the committee's approval.
Okay, any questions from members? Representative Herron?
Thank you. I just have 2 questions. One, is it possible for you to send myself, and I don't know if other members would want, the MSD dissent decree? That would I think that's what you said, that MSD has a federal dissent decree. Is that correct?
It's a, yes, ma'am, federal consent decree. And so that is a federal judgment that was entered into between Louisville MSD and the federal court system.
Do you have a copy of that you can share? If not, I'm sure I can find somebody to send that to me.
If I will see if I can find one, and if not, I can contact you and let you know I cannot find one.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And the other question I have is with the changes that are going to be made to this project, is it going to assist and help with some of the smells and the odor that oftentimes comes out of the Rubbertown area? Do you know if that's what this is going to be attempting to fix or fixing?
If so, the pump station would control flooding in the area. And so if there's flooding in the area, if the smells are caused by flooding, then I would see that it would help. I am not an engineer, and I'm probably not the best person to ask that question of, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing no further questions, you'll have a motion and a second to approve the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority transaction. Have a motion by Senator Howell, second by my co-chair Girdler. And Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler,
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes. The, excuse me, I turned the page too fast. The transactions were approved, and thank you for being here, Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have Katie Smith in person, Kylie Palmer in person. The K's, you call them, right? The double K.
You just said we weren't sure if we'd get recognized that way again.
Oh, of course, of course. We have tradition. You'll be presenting agenda item number 6B, 5 Economic Development Fund Grants. And do I have a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote? Motion by Representative Herron, second by Senator Howell, and you may begin.
Thank you. I'm Katie Smith, Deputy Secretary at the Cabinet for Economic Development, and we're proud to bring 5 more projects for our Kentucky Product Development Initiative. These are still under round 1. Yes, round 2 has started, and the independent consultant is reviewing and scoring all of those projects applications right now. So these are still under round 1. Just didn't want to cause any confusion. So have at it.
Thank you. Hi, again, I'm Kylie Palmer. First, we have the City of Somerset, on behalf of Somerset Pulaski Economic Development Authority, was approved by KEDFA for a $1,580,662 KPDI EDF grant project to perform due diligence, infrastructure extensions, site preparation, and road improvements to attract industry at the Commerce Park in Somerset. Matching funds are provided through a local grant, and total potential investment for this project is $11,832,527. Next project is the Bracken County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the Augusta, Brooksville, Bracken County Industrial Development Authority, was approved for a project with a potential investment of $408,326. This project is seeking to improve water lines on the property within the Bracken County Industrial Park. Matching funds are provided through local IDA funds, and the project was approved by KEDFA for a $204,163 KPDI EDF grant. Third, we have Fleming County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the Fleming County Industrial Development Authority, was approved by KEDFA for a $366,570 KPDI EDF grant. The project is to assist in site preparation of a new build-ready pad and road improvements within the industrial park in Flemingsburg. Matching funds are provided through a combination of a utility grant and IDA funds. Total potential investment for this project, $733,140. Next, Hopkins County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the City of Madisonville, was approved for a project with a potential investment of $21,791,460. This project is seeking to transform a 72-acre property on Rose Creek Road into the largest shovel-ready site in Hopkins County. Matching funds are provided through municipal bonds and the city's sewer and water revenues. Project was approved by KEDFA for a $1,104,013 KPDI EDF grant. Last, we have Menifee County Fiscal Court, on behalf of the MMRC Regional Industrial Development Authority, was approved by KEDFA for a $148,578 KPDI EDF grant. Project is to perform infrastructure improvements to attract industry at the John Wells Stacy MMRC Regional Industrial Park in Moorhead. This is a regional project with support by Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan counties, and the MMRC Regional Industrial Authority will provide the matching funds. Total potential investment for this project is $404,810. All projects were identified by the independent site selection consultant as having a potential for future investments or locations of an economic project. All projects were recommended by Secretary Knoll, and a concurrence letter was signed by Secretary Johnson. These were approved by our KEDFA board on July 27th and presented to State Property and Buildings Commission on August 17th.
Okay, thank you very much. Exciting. Any questions from members? Okay. Seeing no further questions, do I have a motion and a second to approve the 5 Economic Development Fund grants? Motion by Senator Girdler, second by Senator Howe. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler,
Aye.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes. The 5 Economic Development Fund grants were approved. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have the Office of Financial Management. We have Tracy Thurston in person to provide an overview of the Kentucky Housing Corporation's debt. Its single-family debt transaction is on the agenda today, and you may begin.
Thank you. My name is Tracy Thurston. I'm the Senior Director of Financial Management at Kentucky Housing Corporation. Today, Kentucky Housing Corporation is seeking approval for an issuance of single-family mortgage revenue bonds that Ryan will be presenting shortly. Typically, you've seen our multifamily conduit bond deals come through here for approval, so this is a bit of a change for us. Our main line of business at Kentucky Housing Corporation is serving first-time home buyers through low-rate mortgages and down payment assistance. Historically, since 1973, we've used mortgage revenue bonds and the bond proceeds to fund those mortgages up until about 2010, 2011, when interest rates went down, and that was no longer the best execution to fund those mortgages. Over the last decade or so, We have pooled our loans and delivered them to the secondary market, but now with rising interest rates, increased housing costs, we think it is best to issue mortgage revenue bonds again to put a low interest rate mortgage product on the market to help fund and potentially underserved or unserved homeowners. For some context, since 1973, Kentucky Housing Corporation has issued approximately $6 billion of single-family mortgage revenue bonds, and approximately $167 million are remained outstanding as of June 30th. So I just wanted to fill you in on our shift in how we are funding our mortgage production.
Yes, thank you for that information. Are there any questions from members? Okay. Ron Barrow is in here in person to present agenda items number 6, C, 2, and D, 2 new debt issues, as well as school district debt issues with the SFCC participation requiring action. Do I have a motion and a second to roll the 2 new debt issues into one roll call vote? We have a motion by Senator Howell, second by Co-Chair Girdler. Any objections? Please again with the two new debt issues, and after we vote on those, you may continue with the SFCC debt issue.
Thank you very much. So to continue upon what Tracy just said, traditionally I'm here talking about the multifamily. This is a transaction of the Kentucky Housing Corporation. Not a state transaction, but the Housing Corporation, again, to continue that side of the mission, the underserved and unserved single-family origination. As Tracy said, historically, this has been a structure that the Housing Corporation used to generate funds for that purpose. But obviously, with low interest rates, 2011 was the last time the Housing Corporation did it in this method, but it's been done repeatedly prior to that. Basically, with higher rates, you got wider spreads. So that leads to the economics of this being more favorable than packaging the assets and selling them in the secondary. The transaction for consideration is estimated a par amount of $97.77 million, a net true interest cost just above 5%. The board approved the 27th July, and as I said, these are limited obligations paid solely from the indenture of the assets. The financing team is in the packet and happy to take any additional questions on the transaction.
Any questions from members? Thank you. Motion and a second to approve. Oh, go ahead with number B. Sorry about that.
Yes. So the next transaction for consideration is the State Property and Buildings Commission. This is Project 128. This is a general fund transaction, and the way the Commonwealth has moved to the funding mechanism for projects, historically we had funded a bond deal for these various projects, and a project get delayed, and all of a sudden we have bond proceeds that are sitting around, we paid interest on, and we haven't utilized that for infrastructure. So the new method is to fund a pool of assets, a pool of funds through a transaction, and then to allow us, the budget office, to take funds as projects proceed through. So the what's labeled Exhibit A is the entire comprehensive list of projects. I think it comes from about 10 different budgets. We call it a BUI, authorized but unissued transactions, and really just fund cash flow needs between 6 months and 18 months for that basket of projects. Now, obviously, the General Assembly can remove projects or add projects in future budgets, but that's the one that the comprehensive list that we're working off of now. The next transaction is contemplated to generate, currently the packet does say $200 million in project funds. We've downsized that for various reasons to about $150 million to kind of fund that various budget bill authorized but unissued projects. As you can see, there's about $2.85 billion of a BUI. So obviously the actual transactions, are substantially smaller than what is authorized to be utilized. I am somewhat excited about this next transaction because now we have 2 ratings upgrades. So we had the Fitch rating in May and the S&P rating in June, which obviously translates into lower cost of capital for the state. So we can either make our dollar go farther or we have lower debt service. There's information about the financing team, but we're estimating right now about a 4.156 all-in true interest cost. Happy to take any questions on the transaction.
Okay. Any questions from members? Okay. Oh, Okay, I need a motion and a second. Motion by Senator Howe, second by Senator Webb. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler, Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, the new debt issues were approved. Before continuing with the 6 SFCC debt issues requiring action, do I have a motion and a second to roll them into one roll call vote? Motion by Senator Howe, second by Senator Webb, and you may begin.
Thank you. The last item for consideration today, as mentioned, is the 6 transactions that have SFCC state level participation in the transaction. Currently, the SFCC is just under 10%, with the balance over 90% being supported, the debt service being supported by local resources. There is no tax increase necessary to fund any of these projects. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. Seeing no questions, have a motion and a second to approve the 6 SFCC debt issues. Motion by Senator Howe, second by Senator Webb. Please call the roll.
Senator Funky Fromeyer, Senator Howell, Senator Webb, Representative Herron, Representative Petrie,
Yes.
Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Co-Chair Girdler.
I'm gonna do the double yes, because about 5 of these 6 are my district, so.
Chair Fraser Gordon.
Yes, those debt issues are approved. Thank you, Mr. Barrow. Okay, the next meeting date we have slated is September the 27th at 3 p.m. and all we need is a motion to adjourn.
That's so moved.
Okay, motion by Senator or Representative Herron and a seconded by Co-Chair Girdler. Thank you all. Okay. Yes, yes. We would like to register votes from Senator Webb, aye on all matters, and now the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.